people can pivot into cybersecurity. And today we're going to be talking about how marketing can move into cybersecurity. It's an absolutely awesome role that has a lot of transferable skills that can go into cybersecurity. And we're going to be talking to Rhea Galsam about why she pivoted from marketing into cybersecurity, what challenges she encountered along the way, what skills she picked up from her marketing career that she was able to apply instantly to her cybersecurity career, and what lessons learned she has that she can share with you to make it easier for you to pivot from marketing to cyber. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here, Rhea. Tell me, why did you want to pivot from marketing into cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I spent about 5+ years in marketing in financial services, which kind of gives you a broad reach of working with different audiences from legal, compliance, and also the technology teams. And so I was definitely very much involved with all of the back-end processing and also some of the front-end web applications that we use to launch marketing campaigns. And so after 5 years, I kind of felt like I wanted to get further involved in technology. And I think the real trigger for me was actually an actual example of a real-life marketing campaign where I had to work with privacy directly for an incident. The incident wasn't something that was causing consumer harm necessarily, but it did kind of help me kind of work directly with privacy a lot more to gauge what to do next to remediate some of our issues with this one campaign. And so that really got me interested a lot further in data privacy. And then I kind of went down that rabbit hole of researching data privacy and reading online, like websites like Dark Reading, and looking at blog posts about that. So that was definitely the trigger for me.
Love it. So you got a little bit of a taste and you wanted more. I absolutely can empathize and identify with that. So you make the decision to pivot. What kind of challenges did you encounter along the way from I want to be in the industry to I'm in the industry?
Now, that's a good question. So I know when I first started out, the first exposure I had besides just my own personal working campaign in marketing was I did go on Udemy to look at some courses like Intro to Web Hacking, just because that was a top course on Udemy. And that's usually what you would see when you're looking for cybersecurity. So I ended up taking this intro to web hacking and really liked it. Of course, it was very difficult. And so I wanted something that was a lot more focused, I'd say. So I decided either I could go back to school, but that was too expensive. And so I opted for a different route, which was to go through a boot camp actually based in the Chicago area with another well-known pen testing firm, and also boot camp at the same time. And so that was overall a really good experience, just to get a full deep dive into all of cybersecurity, from IT networking to cloud security to some topics around NIST, so some governance and security policy management, and also, of course, web app pen testing. It was definitely a lot of work. I'd say being in a program like that, it is very rigorous. You have to really manage yourself. And so I definitely learned a ton in a short amount of time. But what was also very interesting is towards the end of that program, you do have an opportunity to work with a client directly and kind of work on your first external assessment with that client. So that kind of bridges all of that experiences together, maybe very quickly in a matter of like 3 to 4 months. So for me, I felt like that was a great experience. But of course, that may not be the experience that everyone else shares who's ever attended a program or a boot camp like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. I would say, boot camps, some of them get a bad rap, some of them deserve a bad rap. So if you are going to take Rhea's, some of her lessons learned, which we'll get into later in the talk here, do your research on the boot camp, talk to someone who's gone through the boot camp, ask them what their experience was like, ask them what the value was. Rhea, the one you went through sounds amazing. And that, I would strongly endorse that one, but, do your research before you invest in the time. Now, Rhea, as far as marketing goes, what type of skills, because it may not be obvious to folks that there are any transferable skills, but I'd love to know, what were you able to take from that career and apply directly into cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I think with marketing, it really comes down to, I think, a lot of the soft skills, a lot of the ability to recognize certain details with certain groups of people that you work with. So for example, I mentioned that I worked a lot with the legal and compliance and also our technology teams. So I knew offhand that if I needed to get certain things done with marketing campaigns, that I needed to know some technology requirements. Maybe not to the same extent as my developer would know, but definitely enough to do my job. And then also with legal and compliance, because again, this was coming from financial services, it's highly regulated. You definitely need to know what the bases are for those requirements from legal and compliance so that you can create these marketing campaigns and get it out in time. So long story short is that even though you are in marketing, it sounds very creative. It sounds like all you do is look at creative copy and banners, but it's actually not true. It's really identifying those process areas behind the scenes that some people don't really think about, I'd say, and kind of being able to build that narrative about how those experiences really help you into cybersecurity. So going back to cybersecurity a little bit more, since it is such a broad field, and of course the first entry into cyber looks like it's in networking related or cloud security or pen testing. It's actually not necessarily in those fields or functions. It can be even in security awareness trainings, right? Or you could even get into something that I'm currently involved in, which is more in the security and compliance space. So kind of identifying things that you can bring from your past experiences and some of the things that you learn from there. And even, it may not even be creative focused. It could just be a lot of the back end and process improvements or process related work. And then kind of using those skills and identifying careers that kind of match those skills is what I kind of did. Of course, it took me a long time to get to that point, but now looking back, that's exactly what I realized, had happened. Just took me a little longer time to get there.
So I can appreciate that. And if you're watching this video and you're working in marketing, you know full well that it's not just looking at social media all day and posting to Instagram once in a while. Marketing, you obviously know, and it's very relatable to cybersecurity, where there's a lot more going on than just pen testing. Rhea, as far as like lessons learned, if you could go back and talk to Rhea day one for the most optimal path, or for someone watching this video, what type of lessons learned can they gather from you so they can, take the optimal path?
Yeah, I'd say definitely focus on a lot of those transferable skills that you have already. And again, it can be anything from, project management to communication. And then also I think what's key is to really join a lot of the online communities out there. I kind of wish I had started with that first, all at the beginning. So after I decided to leave marketing, I wish I had known about all these communities out there. I definitely would have networked a lot more. And I think that to me would have helped me identify what was actually my interest and what I wanted to spend time learning. Since there's so much online, there's so many articles out there, but I think once you get that in person or even just that mentorship from folks online is very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Networking cannot be overstated how valuable, how important it is. I just want to remind everybody, if you're looking for a community, one particular one that I always like to recommend is the Simply Cyber community. There's a Discord server that you can join. It's free to join. There's thousands of people in there helping each other, supporting each other, being inclusive, mentoring, as Rhea mentioned. So if you're looking for a community, that's a great place to start. So Rhea, thank you so much for sharing your story and all of your lessons learned. I'm very, very happy for you that you've made this transition and you're another wonderful member of the cybersecurity community.
Yeah, thanks so much. Happy to be here.